I think people go to networking events still. When I look at networking events, I go to them all the time. Here's a couple of things I can tell you. Almost always, you're in a room of people that have no idea what they're doing.
Yep.
There for the Triscuits, the cheese cubes, and maybe bumping into randomly somebody that might one day have somebody that they may or may not know might give them an opportunity to do their business with.
Yep.
So just going into a networking event on purpose and with intention and kind of a plan and a strategic method of operation, you set yourself like way in front of the crowd.
Okay, welcome everybody. Today we have one of our favorite people, Casey Eberhardt. I can't believe we've known you for over a year now, Casey. Time has just flown. Casey is one of our personal coaches, and we have learned so much from him. So we don't really have an agenda for today's conversation because Casey can just ramble and give you the most information that you've ever heard. So we'll just take it from there, Casey.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me on here. I mean, it is such a joy to have the opportunity to work with people like the two of you because you're aggressive and young and hungry and came and basically were like, hey, we have this lifestyle that we want to feed a business into. And the fact that you've been able to do that times 10 is just unbelievably exciting and rewarding. So I can't wait to sort of get into it and figure out where we go.
Yeah, I know. And like, so I want to point out that we originally met Casey because we were buying or trying to buy and acquire businesses. And, maybe that's something that we're going to consider down the road. But I think Casey, like, put us into this box of our own dream that we came to you with. And you just really kind of steered us in that direction. And when we started to kind of like veer out of it, you like just knocked us back into our box. And it's never fun to be knocked back into your box when you have this dream that you think that you want to follow. But that wasn't the original thing that we came to you for coaching for. You saw our vision clearer than we could, and now we're grateful to be in this box because like you said, it's really provided us this life that we can travel and not be married to a location. That's always been my dream life. So we're grateful for the beatings that you give us.
Well, I'm not abusive, I promise, right? I'm not a dream crusher, I promise. But, I think here's the thing that makes this kind of work, right? It's all about different perspectives. So everybody comes from different perspectives wherever we are in business. So as a coach or as a guy who has done, 35 years of helping businesses grow and consult and advise and build and sell and buy and kind of all of that stuff around business, at the end of the day, the way I view sort of a coaching or mentorship or whatever is that I use a bowling alley as an example and a bowling lane in particular. So, American bowling. So if you're watching this from Canada, you might have a few different rules on this, but here's what happens in American bowling. You're standing at the end of a bowling lane. You've got your shoes on, you've got your wrist guard on, you've got a bowling ball. And down, I don't know what it is, 14 yards or whatever it is, there are 10 pins. And the goal of the game is to take as many swings of that ball and try to knock down as many pins over a period of time, right? But you have some obstacles in the way, and those obstacles are the gutters. And so when I look at how I want to put my kind of spin on things is I'm just the kitty gutter guard. Like our team is just the kitty gutter guard. So that a business owner that has a bowling ball, you're throwing the ball. Some people throw it hard, some people throw it soft, some people have no strategy, some people have a strategy, some people just hope and pray the ball hits down at the bottom by pure gravity. Um, doesn't mean you can't throw the ball over the kitty guard. It doesn't mean you can't throw it behind you and let it release. But if you've got good coaches and good mentors that at the end of the day, maybe you all agree on what those 10 pins are, and maybe you don't all agree what the 10 pins are. But the game is get the ball down and knock off as many pins as possible, right? And so it's not that I come and try to crush a dream or put somebody in a box or whatever. But sometimes what they say they want is not necessarily in the same alignment with the mechanism or the strategy in order to get them there, right? So people can come in and say, "Oh, I want to invest in real estate investing." Okay, cool. But what are you trying to accomplish by investing in real estate? Well, I want, you know, cash flow or what I want, whatever. Well, if that's in alignment, then cool, right? One of the challenges just in when people say I want to buy and acquire a business is it the business that people want to buy and acquire needs to be in alignment with what the actual goal is of buying the business in the first place,
Right.
Hmm.
right? So for you guys, when you said I want to acquire businesses, and then we get deep into the conversation is what is the life that you want to create? Because I truly believe that as business owners, the goal at the end of this whole thing called life is that we get to experience the most fun and have the most thrill and the most adventure that we want.
Hmm.
So when somebody comes and says, I want to acquire business, oh yeah, and by the way, Case, I want to travel around. I want to be no tied. I want to be able to work from home. I want to be able to spend time with my family and friends or my husband. I want to have a family. I don't want to have a family. I want to have all these dreams and all these experiences. And I want to spend 4 months in Africa and 2 months in Australia and 1 month in Jamaica and 30 days in Canada. And then they say, oh yeah, I want to acquire business and I want to buy a local roofing business. Sometimes it just means maybe we need to adjust either the type of business that we want to buy and acquire, or we address what the goals are. But let me say, because I've done this for so long, that buying a roofing business still could allow you to go do all of those things if it's set up and done and managed properly. So I just like to be able to say that if you think of your business as a bowling game, a game of bowling, it's a really good way to think about what mentors and coaches and masterminds and people you hang around with are. They're just the gutter guards and they're trying to give you the best size ball that fits. They're trying to give you the best ball, and the business in and of itself is the ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, if your fingers don't fit in the ball, it's going to affect how the ball gets down to the end of the runway,
Right. Yeah.
right?
No, I think that's a really good analogy. And, you know, you explained it perfectly. The buying the business felt like a fast path. Oh, you just buy something, it's already cash flowing, it's already making you money, you optimize it, you make it better, and you sell it. And I mean, at the end of the day, we all know that that's not how it always goes.
I
And
think the keyword is always. It doesn't always go that way. But
yes,
yeah, there is
right.
some ways to do that. It
Hmm.
really comes down to, I think what happens in this acquisition game is sometimes people are acquiring businesses that they don't have any real business acquiring.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. I agree. And there's always way more than you expect there to be. And I think like what you were saying with the gutter guards, you kind of help put the blinders on and you help see a different path to get there. Because for us, it was just like that's the path. That's the only way. Okay, we'll give up 5 years of our life to sit there and run a roofing company, cash out, be done, and then go have fun. But there are other ways to do that. And that's exactly what we're building here. So we get to do what we've wanted to do in the meantime and continue to grow and continue to build on that. And you get the same end goal, but you get the fun in the meantime.
Well, yeah,
So,
well, I think the other thing to look at for business owners is to take a step back. And I think a lot of times business owners don't know where they even are starting. And
yep.
let me explain what I mean by that. So I have this hypothesis, okay, and this hypothesis is something I started thinking about literally when I was like 15, 16 years old, and I still hold it true today. So most people don't know where they're even starting. So here's kind of the spectrum that I would say. On one end of the spectrum are people that need to, and when I say need to, I mean because they've got an inner desire, an inner soul. It's who they're built as people. To get the maximum out of their life, they need to focus on one thing, right? Focus on one course until successful, right? You hear all the cliches. The one thing, great book written by Gary Keller. Like there are all kinds of things on focus and get really head down and blinders on and really dial in and get focused. And if somebody's going to make $20,000 a month, for example, I'm just pulling that number out, They want to make all $20,000 from that one thing, and then they'll think about doing something else, and then they'll think about doing something else, right? And I think on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, there are people that whose inner soul is more adventurous. Plate spinners. They need to have a lot of different projects. They need to have a lot of different things happening. They need to be in different communities, and maybe that includes their church and their friend circle and their intramural basketball league and their family, like, and a bunch of different businesses, and they've got all these different projects going on. And on that far end of the spectrum, that's what feeds their soul, is to have all of those. And if they're going to make the same $20,000 a month, in their ideal world, they would have 20,000 $1 checks. Okay. So we got opposite ends of the spectrum, 20,000 from one source, 20,000 from 20,000 sources,
Yep.
right? And we all fall somewhere, probably in that spectrum somewhere. And I think what happens a lot are coaches and mentors and things like that. What I've seen happen in the past is that they take a member and they almost always try to veer them to the focused source, the focused component of that.
Hmm.
When we do that, what happens is we take something away from the business owner or the entrepreneur, and we're trying to put them in something that they're not.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I just truly believe that when you can blend sort of transactional and transformational business together, the explosion of opportunity and the fulfillment is just like through the roof. And I don't mean that in a completely woo-woo sense, but I do mean it in that, if you can create an environment through acquisitions, businesses, investments, jobs, communities, whatever, and you can bring the line and the distinction between work and play almost together,
Hmm.
then you just have a happier, healthier life,
Yep.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And you guys are part of our mastermind, and one of the things that we talk about, it is very hard for me to use the word balance, because balance to me becomes a binary decision. I'm either work or family, friends or church, husband, wife, whatever it is. And you're just in this constant struggle of going back and forth. And when one gets too heavy, then this one feels neglected. And then when you put a bunch of energy on this one, it tries to bring it back. And you're just in this constant back and forth trying to figure out this binary conversation. Whereas if you have a life of having it all, I've got business, I've got friends, I've got adventure, I'm working with people I love, I'm hanging out in my spiritual practice with people that I love, I'm excited about going and looking at waterfalls, or being able to go to the gym and still talk about what pizza shop we're gonna go right?
Been there, done that.
Then it makes for the entire experience in this, what we call this human experience, just a heck of a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I say that you put us in a box, what I mean by that is you put us in a box the size of the world and made us see that the world is our playground. It doesn't have to be roofing company in this town. Our box is huge, and that's a great box to be in. So don't take that as
Yeah.
offensive, because I love our box now.
Well, I think sometimes we refer to it as a candy store, right? Like the first thing we want everybody to do is like go and experience a bunch of stuff and try a bunch of things and see what lands and speaks to you.
Yeah.
You guys have landed on two incredibly amazing businesses because it fits right inside your bowling alley.
Yep.
And what's great is you might have three or four different bowling alleys or bowling lanes to play in, but like the community card thing, like maximum flexibility,
Hmm.
super fun. Maximum flexibility allows you to get out and chat with people, or be able to create that in an online environment. The new boards that you guys are coming out with, fantastic business idea. And what makes it so fun to watch is not only have you sort of come close to mastering that process yourself, but now you're like, listen, we get to travel around and have amazing time and spend time with who we want, where we want, when we want, and travel around the country and kind of like live the life that everybody talks about wanting on YouTube. And so why don't we teach and show what we're doing to another group of people and pass that knowledge on to free people from their golden handcuffs or the shackles that they have in whatever their business they're in.
Yeah. I think that's probably like the funnest part of our business for me because we've built this life that we've dreamed about and wanted so badly. And now we get to show others the exact way that we've done it. And there's so many people looking to get out of their jobs. And like when I see someone like when we go to the store and there's a cashier, maybe they don't hate their job, but I do. I hate their job for them. And I'm like, oh, can you believe they're just working that job? It's late at night, they're stuck there, and like maybe they're fine with it, but I'm not.
Well, because and this is the thing. I mean, the world can't be made up of just entrepreneurs, which are essentially risk takers. Because otherwise, I mean, that'd be chaotic, but that would be fun. But there are also, again, there are plenty of people that are wired that they need for their own internal workings and emotional stability to have what they perceive as stability
Yeah.
or perceive as I want to be able to go someplace and when I clock out, go home and not think about that.
Mhm.
Um, or I'm willing to do this because of the money that it allows me to make so that I can go do this over here with my friends. I mean, listen, the game of being an entrepreneur or business owner is a rough game. I mean, you're sort of like, we're sort of gamblers and all we're really trying to do is put the odds in our favor a bit.
Yeah,
As a
absolutely.
gambler, we only need to win 51% of the time.
Right. Yeah, and I think what we really like about you and this whole mastermind is that, because that we've been part of other ones and it is all about focus and pick your one thing and do your one thing, make your 20,000 from that one thing. And while we kind of fall in the middle, but more towards the end of like the spread out end of the spectrum, I really appreciate the fact that you can be successful juggling multiple things, doing multiple things. It doesn't have to be one thing that you pursue and everything else has to be shut out. Like we're pursuing real estate. We've got our community. We do the community cards and the community boards. And having multiple things like that is just fun because there's always at least one winning. If the other two are like having a bad week, the other one's doing really good. And you're like, cool. I'm just happy all
Well,
the time.
I mean, look, I mean, and that whole thing sort of comes out of me going down a road personally of being in the focus on one thing. A gazillion years ago, I owned a clothing manufacturing business. Well, let me back up. Even before that, I owned an equipment rental business for film and television equipment. Okay. So owned that. We exited that. And then we invested in a clothing manufacturing business. So we made 4,000 pair of women's pants a day.
Yeah.
Okay. So you might otherwise think of it as a sweatshop, but I'm in marketing, so it's a perspiration salon,
Love it.
right? But we made a ton of mistakes in there. And we made so many mistakes that we found ourselves about a year into this thing, $1.5 million lost.
Hmm.
And we sat around and we looked and we went, wow, we put everything we had into this business. We hired coaches, we did marketing, we built relationships, we built like we did all the things we perceived at the time to be right, and we still lost a ton of money
Yeah.
and probably 10 years off of our lives.
Yeah.
Right? And it was in that moment where I had to literally start calling our investors and going, listen, we just lost all your money. Now, as a side note, my pitch to the investors when we lost all their money was, hey, we lost your money, but next time we need money, we're coming to you first, which I know is fairly risky. But because our investors had made so much money on the first couple of go arounds, we lose one, they were just like, we're fine.
Yeah.
But I realized and recognized in that moment when I had to start making those calls that I had lost who I was as a person because I was completely focused in on that one focus side. Now, could I make the argument that if I had had other projects, we would have had, we would have lost $1 million in 6 months rather than a year? Maybe. But I knew at that time I wasn't happy. I wasn't hanging out with the people I wanted to hang out with. All our stuff was focused on a business that neither of us, my business partner nor I, really bought for the right reasons. We didn't really have a passion around it. We didn't really like it. We struggled with it. We're in the fashion business. I mean, I know there's a whole thing about how to go from rags to riches. We wanted to write a book, How to Go from Riches to Rags, open it up by getting into the fashion business. Um, and I just recognize I'm like, I'm never doing that again. It's not a spread the risk thing. It's just I needed to be around people. I
Yeah.
couldn't communicate with any of our employees. So I was in a silo. I was like, I tend to like shiny objects. I need that stimulus and that fulfillment.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any of that. And I was like, listen, I have to go out and find coaches myself that will meet me where I am and not tell me that I'm wrong,
Hmm. Yeah.
because that made me really, really unhappy. And I think like in our mastermind, one of the things that we talked to everybody before they joined about was like, listen, we're going to meet you where you are. Now, there is a caveat to all of this, and you guys and we've had this conversation, so I think it's just worth it for everybody to know. The caveat to all of this is if you want to do 17 different projects, you also do have to know the potential consequences of doing 17 projects. And that 17 projects is if you don't have the skill set and the systems and the processes and the purpose to be able to handle 17, you may like make less money.
Yep.
But if that less money outweighs you being able to travel the world in an RV and stay where you want and go swimming when you want and go jump off waterfalls when you want and go do on hikes, then that's the trade.
Right. Yeah. It's not always about how much money you're making. If it's enough for you and you're happy, great. Keep doing what you're doing. So, I mean, it can mean something different to everybody.
Yeah, I'd like to say that with the coaching, I like how much it bleeds into our network and like what we're able to go share. And like most recently, we had a conversation with a company that helps elderly transition into senior care living, and they're struggling with lead generation, and they've only got one line in the water. And so I always like telling the story about like be the fisherman who's got a ton of lines in the water to catch leads slash fish. And really explaining to that, and we got that from you as well, so we appreciate that because
Hmm.
that's taken our business to the next level, really understanding how to utilize multiple lead generation tools to keep your pipeline full. Because if you're just using one line, I mean, that's when it can start to feel spaced out. So that's really cool what you teach in that.
And I want
Well,
to point out,
let's
oh, sorry, go
so
ahead, Casey.
I was just gonna say let's crack that open a minute because this is a humongous juggernaut of a topic and issue for people, right?
Hmm.
So here's the deal. If I look across businesses and I look at businesses that are let's say this, business owners and entrepreneurs that are really successful, and then there's kind of a second bucket that are successful, and then there's a third bucket that's struggling.
Hmm.
If you want to think about it differently, you got lower class, middle class, upper class. Like you can break these three buckets kind of down in those categories. Here's what my experience is. If you look at the third group, the businesses that are struggling, those businesses are usually focused on 37 different things. The business owner, systems and processes and technology and how to incorporate AI and sales and marketing and lead generation and execution and choosing brand colors and logos and all of this stuff in that business.
Yep.
Execution on what you sold, right? If I look at the second bucket is where the business owners have figured out that they need to be focused on some core things and some core things only. Sales, well, lead generation, sales, and marketing. Let's
Hmm.
just use those three. Everything else is not focused on, including execution. That stuff can all be done not by the actual business owner. Okay, that so we got lead generation, sales, and maybe execution or maybe marketing in there, right? Like two or three things inside of there. If you look at the elite business owner, they are really only dialed into one component of that business, and
Yep.
it's lead generation. Is
Yep.
lead generation. Is
Mhm.
lead generation. It's lead generation. It's lead generation. If a business does not have leads coming in the front door, nothing else matters. Execution doesn't matter. I don't care if you want to build a program, go sell the program before you build it,
Yep.
Yep.
right? If you're gonna, it is, I'll have businesses that'll come like, oh, well, we're gonna set up a new, call it? We need a logo, we need a website, we need a brand, and we need a YouTube channel, we need all that. I'm like, no, you need some leads to go talk to see if it's even worth doing that. Who gives a 2 cents about the logo
Yep.
Yep.
if nobody's coming in the front door? So lead generation, I mean, I literally spoke on stages literally all over the world in like 17 different countries. I've spoken in front of tens of thousands of business owners, all about lead generation. I mean, back in the day, literally my entire focus was a program called 147 Ways to Generate Leads, dot, 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 how to have more leads than time. Because if you figured out how to generate leads on demand, and Dalton, going back to your point here, this is where businesses get stuck, right? They say something like, oh, I'm going to build my business on social media. Okay, cool. Now, I'm just going to say for the record, literally 1 month ago today, I had 20 years of Facebook wiped and hacked and gone like that.
Yep.
Started over, went through the review process, couldn't get it reviewed, had to literally start over with one friend.
Hmm.
And people are like, how are you not panicking and freaked out? I'm like, because I recognize early on that you need to have 50, 75, 80 different ways to generate leads going on, so that if 5 or 10 of them don't work or stop working or AI takes them out or you start using AI and it's working, then you've got a bunch of different ways that people are all coming into the business because people are all looking for stuff in different ways,
Yep.
Yep.
right? I mean, my mom literally goes to Fred Meyer and goes to the bulletin board outside the bathrooms and the break room at Fred Meyer to see what person is posting business cards, thumbtack them to a bulletin board to do her landscaping, her carpet cleaning, she needed her chimney cleaned out. All of those people generated leads by someone going and putting a business card and a bulletin board in a Fred Meyer.
That's so funny.
My mom is never going to find a business using AI. She's
Yep.
never going to go to chat and say, hey, I need my chimney cleaned in Edgewood, Washington. Who should I call?
Hmm.
Right? Personally, I would never go become a client of a business because of a bulletin board. I'm going to be in some version of chat or some version of AI. I'm going to ask it, hey, I live in Edgewood, my chimney needs cleaning, and it's a wood stove, and I don't know who the hell to call. Who do I call?
Yep.
Oh, this is the person you call.
Mhm.
Why should I call them? How many reviews do they have? What do they do? And so, Dawn, to your point, when we use the fishing analogy, you have to think of like you're the skipper of your business boat. And if you have no poles in the water, you will catch exactly zero fish. If you have one pole in the water in a whole wide, wide, wide world ocean, and by the way, there are boats all around you with a gazillion different poles and lines and bait in the water, and you only have one, what happens if that gets tangled and you have to stop the boat? What happens if you run out of gas? What happens if somebody's on the bait's on the line and you catch a fish, but then that fish gets snagged in somebody else? Like if you have a boat and you've got 30 lines in the water, you're just gonna increase the likelihood that you're gonna catch some fish.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. And like talking about how people get stuck in the planning, the logo, the funnel, the this, the that. I mean, you know exactly how we started our community. We went on someone else's podcast. They said, "Hey, do you mind if we direct people to you for coaching or learning how to do this?" And we said, "Yeah." Didn't think anything was going to come of it. The day the podcast drops, we are getting calls all day long of people wanting what we have to offer. We didn't have anything to offer. So that night, we built out everything that we have to offer. And now we have 125 paying members.
Yeah.
So we
And we're
didn't
just
have
getting
it.
started.
What's
That's
that?
we're just getting started,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. It's
right?
only been a couple of months. So that was a big eye opener for us. Like if we would have tried to sit there and plan out this community and this and that and whatever, we'd probably have like 10 or 20 people in there, maybe if we were lucky. But the opportunity presented itself. We had nothing planned and we planned it.
Well, again, I'm going to go back and just give you an example that happened for me like 30 years ago. I was at sort of a conferencey type thing, and I remember having this conversation with someone at the event, and at the event there was a presenter in the front of the room, and there was a whiteboard, and they were drawing circles and squares and all kinds of stuff on this whiteboard. And somebody that was in the room pulled me aside and said this phrase that forever changed my life, like completely changed my life. And they said, "He or she who has the marker makes the money."
Mhm.
And I went, what does that even mean? Like that seems like such a weird, like you're weird. And then I looked up, and this person in the front of the room that had the whiteboard with the black dry erase marker drawing out business stuff, I got it in an instant. And all that really means for you guys is a one to many message is way faster than a one to one,
Yep.
Yes.
right? So what you guys experience is the one to many. The
Hmm.
great part about being a guest on somebody else's podcast is it's their audience, it's their network. They have the many, you're just being put in front of it. So I think there's a blend. You have to build your own audience for a bunch of reasons, and we can talk about those. But being in front of other people's audiences introduces people to you. So, for example, if I were to ask everybody in the room, everybody watching this, to think about who the most powerful woman in the world is, I already know your answer. I know who you're thinking about right this second. It's Oprah Winfrey. I have asked that question in rooms of 2 people, 12 people, 100 people, 500 people, and 20,000 people. And overwhelming, it's Oprah Winfrey. Now, there's always some outliers. Beyonce,
Yeah.
Michelle Obama, the First Lady. Like there, some married guy's gonna yell his wife, right? Because she's sitting right there. But overwhelming, it's Oprah. And if you think about what Oprah did, is she just created a formula that she just did every single day on network television when she ran her show, and it was actually very simple. Other people's content plus their reach equals more content, more contacts. That's the formula. Other people's content. So Tom Cruise comes on and talks about a movie he's doing. It's not her content. She's not going, "I'm awesome. Let me tell you all the reasons why I'm awesome." She's bringing on somebody else, and they bring their audience and their content to her people,
Yep.
right? To her audience. And a few people go that never heard of Oprah Winfrey, but they see Tom Cruise. They're like, "Oh, he's going to be on this new show." "Oh, she's really cool. I'll tune in tomorrow to listen to her."
Hmm.
And it just builds over time, over time, over time, over time. Now, in the business world, one of the things we recommend is like you start a newsletter or a database so that you can continue to nurture those folks. But let's be real. I'm on this show today for the exact reason that you were on those other podcasts.
Yep.
My goal is like, hey, how can we provide some value to where a couple of folks that watch this go, "Oh, I want to hang out with Rachel and Dalton because they're awesome." Because I'll promote this. If you're watching this and you know me and you don't know Rachel and Dalton, then huzzah, like we win because I got to introduce you to some really cool people. The reverse of that is true. I hope because Rachel and Dalton are super cool people that a couple of you might go, "Hey, that guy's kind of funny. He's kind of quirky. I want to know what this art is behind him. I'll stick around. I'll see what he does."
For
And
anyone
then,
watching, his eyes look like that
I
behind
know,
him when he
right?
goes crazy. So,
Exactly. It's funny, right before we start, I'm like trying to adjust the thing because, if I sit it just right, it looks kind of creepy, but this is the thing. When you can get real good at lead generation, and I mean, guys, I mean, we could go into some really fun, cool, quirky ways to generate leads for your business. I mean, I used to generate leads. I had a business that we wanted to work with people who were in really terrible jobs, and the goal was we wanted to get them out of their jobs. Rachel, you used the grocery store lady. I had this impression that people that worked in mail rooms had the worst jobs in the world. All they did was get paper cuts all day. That was my whole theory. So we created this flyer, and you know those business reply envelopes you get with like credit card applications that say no postage necessary if mailed in the US?
Yep.
We would literally go to our networks of people, like our BNI chapter and our chambers and our social media and say, hey, would you guys save those envelopes for us and send them to us? And we used to take our flyer, and the flyer was like, if you're reading this and your job sucks as bad as we think it is, put this in your pocket, call me when you get home, and a phone number. Because the way those work is when you send those back, they go on a scale. And if it weighs a quarter gram outside of the deviation of what's supposed to be in there, it kicks it out and a person has to open it because they don't know if you're putting cash in there, whatever else. Um, so we were sending out thousands and thousands of business reply envelopes with our little flyers in them,
That is so funny.
right? Right?
Did you
We
get
would,
anybody?
oh yeah, all the time, all the
I
time.
would have been one of those people.
Yeah. I mean, we used to do post-it notepads, and you could actually talk to Rachel and Dalton, and they can put you in touch with somebody that can help you create these. But you could go create post-it notepads that say, hey, for blank, check out this QR code and print a QR code, and then print those on post-it notepads, and then you literally walk out the door. Every morning with a packet of post-it notepads, and you stick them everywhere on gas pumps when you go to the gas pump. Dudes, if you're going to the bathroom, stick them above all the urinals. Ladies, stick them on the walls in the stalls, right? I mean, it- are you going to get a ton of business? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you got a stack of business cards and flyers, and those flyers go up on bulletin boards in grocery stores and laundromats when you're out walking around. That's one generation of lead. If you are not using artificial intelligence and AI right now to be generating leads, you're asleep at the wheel. We have to start using the tools that the masses are coming on board with. That's just the bottom line. So once you start understanding how to use AI, how are you identifying your ideal client? How are you talking to them? How are you using phrases and languages that they use? We have to be able to start creating content that our ideal customers actually want. Right before we started shooting this, we were having a conversation with another one of our clients and members, and these guys all work together. But we were talking about like he created a landing page to help one of his referral partners get new leads. And what it did was he went on AI and figured out how to build the landing page, speaking to that guy's ideal clients. It happened to be gymnastics, right? Well, there's different lingo and language in the gymnastics world, in the swimming world, in the cheer world, in the athletic world, in the business world, in stock and crypto and real estate. There's different lingo and acronyms that are used. If you can start to communicate to your ideal client in their language, you shorten the trust factor,
Hmm. Yep.
right? And if you go in and you're just like, well, I don't really believe in that. Like anytime I hear a business owner say, well, I don't believe in that, I already know where their business is going to go because they're doing stuff that was in 1974, right? And we are not in 1974. I mean,
Welcome
they
to
probably have
Montana.
they have an AOL or a CompuServe email address for crying out loud.
Yes. Oh man, we deal with that on a daily basis here.
Yeah.
It is
But
like
I think
stuck.
I do think that at the end of the day, one of the things that doesn't often get blended with AI, but it really should be, is building your actual network of referral partners, your network of people that you can get on the phone, the network of people that have podcasts, that have influences, that have books or whatever. It's really important. I mean, I think people go to networking events still. When I look at networking events, I go to them all the time. Here's a couple of things I can tell you. Almost always, you're in a room of people that have no idea what they're doing.
Yep.
They're for the Triscuits, the cheese cubes, and maybe bumping into randomly somebody that might one day have somebody that they may or may not know might give them an opportunity to do their business with.
Yep.
So just going into a networking event on purpose and with intention and kind of a plan and a strategic method of operation, you set yourself like way in front of the crowd,
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? You go to a networking, I mean, I'll just give you this because I just get so passionate about this. Like, you guys go into a networking event and a couple of things. Number one, go early, right? Go early. Be there 10, 15 minutes early before everybody gets there. Number two, be the greeter. Stand at the door, shake everybody's hand. Rachel, great to meet you. Hey, I don't know a bunch of these people, but I'll help find you. Is there anybody in here that you want to meet?
Yeah.
Ah, I want to meet a roofer. Okay, cool. But I'm going to introduce myself. If I find a roofer, I'm going to bring him over. Now you're the connector,
Hmm.
right? Always, there are only five people that if you were just starting out, I would recommend that you really focus on meeting at every event. They're actually pretty simple. Number one, the speaker. Whoever is speaking at the event usually is doing a little, song and monkey routine. Secret, go buy a couple of their books. I'll tell you, this works brilliantly. If you got a couple of bucks, figure out who's speaking at the event, go buy a couple of their books on their site or on Amazon or whatever. Walk in with a Sharpie and three copies of their book. Walk right up and say, "Hey, I would love for you to autograph three books for me, one for my top client that I think is absolutely going to get the most value out of this ever, and then I'm going to have you do one, and I'm going to donate it to the organization and let them raffle it off."
Hmm.
9 times out of 10, the speaker is going to highlight you from the front of the room for free.
That's gold.
It's
That's
so cool.
awesome.
So, speaker. Number two, the organizers. If you know the organizers, I mean, I speak at huge events, small events. I'm the guy out in the parking lot helping these poor people drag books and registration in and help set registration up. Why? I want to know the organizers. They know who's cool. They know who's a jerk. They know whose credit cards are bouncing. They have access to the email list. They have access to everyone.
Hmm.
And me getting an introduction from somebody that organizes an event, and I'm competing with somebody that's going to randomly hope to bump into somebody at a chocolate fountain, way better odds. I'm always trying to put the odds into favor. And then the other three people you want to meet are the three biggest yap jobs in the room. Yap job one, yap job two, and yap job three. If you see Rachel and Dalton in a room, these are the people you go talk to. You know them. They're not talking to each other. They're holding court. They think they have stuff going on. Everybody knows them. Those are the people that you can put yourself in proximity to, and they have the accessibility to the other people in the group,
Hmm.
right? So I mean, just doing that, set yourself in a, and now once you meet those people and you shake their hands or whatever, now go play and do whatever you got to do. But it's like, oh, let me give you another thing. You and I have all been in events where people are talking your ear off and you're like, I do not want to work with this person. I don't like this person. They whatever. Three words that will get you out of every conversation like that is very simple. I gotta pee. It works wonders. Now, if they follow you into the bathroom when this occurs, then sign them up because they're ready to buy.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
But
Hang on to them.
yeah, I mean, I think people go to networking events, and you guys could put a little plan together that's really easy. You go, maybe you take a picture of the speaker, you take a picture of the organizer, you put it on social media, or you say, "Hey, let me do a quick interview with you," and then drop it on Facebook or whatever. I mean, there's a ton of different things that you can do, but go with a plan on how you're going to grow the business. Oh, I'm just going to go to build relationships. Great, on board, build strategic relationships that is mutual beneficial. How can you add value to that person? How can that person add value to you?
Yeah, I agree with that because, when me and Dalton were new to networking, we're introverts. That's my preferred state. If you can't tell, I'm the talker of the two of us. I'm always the one talking. So, not by choice, um but I prefer to like just be quiet. I'm not good at putting myself out there. I've gotten better. But like me and Dalton showed up late to a networking event one time because it was just gonna be like this big whole thing. And we're like, oh, it's fine. It's 2 hours. We'll get there half hour late. Well, we get there half hour late and everybody already had their click. Everybody had their table. Everybody was already talking. And that was the worst event I've ever been to because we literally stood in the corner. I don't think we hardly talked to one person. We ended up leaving
Hmm.
because we were like the weird kids in the corner. And so then we were like, okay, we need to start showing up early. We have built really good relationships doing that. And then we were like, we need to split up. I know everybody, it's the Rachel and Dalton show, but we should probably start splitting up more. And we actually did by accident one time because we had to pee. And so we come out, he gets caught by somebody, and then I get caught by somebody. And so then we're just like mingling through. And then when we came back together, we're like, I've got this card. This person wants to work with us. We've got this. And we're like, wow, look at
Oh,
that.
pretty cool.
I mean, it's all these little nuances that you kind of learn and you pass on and bring them to the forefront, right? And I know that, we created this document for you guys. It's a PDF, it's free. And it has 120 different networking tips on there if you're going to go to a live event. Some of them for online, but most of them are for events. It's at Big Sky, bigskypowernetworking.com. We'll drop the link here below. But the other thing is if you're an introvert, force yourself to go talk to the speaker before. And here's why this works so well, because the speaker is a guest in the room, so they don't have a click.
Hmm.
Usually the speaker is in there and they're just like a deer in the headlights and they're usually standing there all by themselves and they're like, I don't have anybody to talk to. So you go up and start building a little bit rapport with them. One thing that would be really beneficial is to say to them, hey, if you do Q&A, are there any questions that I could ask you that would help you sell more books or more courses or whatever? Like, and you will be surprised at number one, how fast you'll get called on and
Hmm.
help that speaker. Why? The speaker is the Oprah Winfrey. The speaker has the influence. The speaker has the microphone. I
Yep.
did this with Ivan Misner and BNI one time. He was speaking at an event and nobody was talking to him. So I went straight up to him and I was like, hey, what can I do to help you? And he's like, hey, can you ask me about my new book? I'm like, absolutely. So I literally sat in the front row. I like literally picked up a chair and moved it to the front table. And they were like, "Oh, we're full at this table." I'm like, "I don't really care what you're eating. I'm just gonna
I'm
sit
not
here.
here for you.
I'm not. Yeah, I am now a plant. So be
Yeah.
quiet."
Yes.
And then he was like, "Hey, does anybody have any questions?" And I'm raising my hand like I'm Arnold Horshack from Welcome Back, Kotter, like, "Ooh, teach me." And I stood up, and before I could ask my question, because I had a little bit of rapport with him, he was like, hey, this is Casey. He works with this company, and I had a great chance to connect with him and talk with him, and he brought a couple of my books. He's literally talking about me for like, I don't know, 10 minutes of his own time. I'm just standing there doing the Disney princess wave, elbow, elbow, wrist, clench, blow a kiss. Like I'm just like sitting there waving. I still do business with people that were at that event, and that was over 15 years ago,
Wow.
because I just allowed myself to figure out how to add value to that conversation. And in return, I got huge value out of that.
That is so cool.
There are a ton of things that you guys could do to generate leads. It's just a matter of like, are you focused on the different ways to generate leads? Are you generating leads via AI? I mean, right now we're in a little bit of the wild, wild west here in AI, but having tools that will go out and seek out and connect with your ideal client, tools that will literally respond to emails and customer service in the way, email or AI tools that will take incoming queries and find out what people are actually asking, not what you think they're going to ask, but what are they actually asking, and then turn around and create blog content for your website specifically to answer that specific question in order to show up on chat and grow. I literally now have two friends of mine. One of them created a program. One of her AI tools literally sits on top of local businesses. And as soon as a customer is having a good experience, it sends them out an email and says, hey, we would love a review on Google. Could you review us? But here's what's really sexy. It pre-writes the review based on all of the stuff that it goes out and seeks out and figures out and finds about you.
Yep.
Yep.
So now the customer's like going, oh my gosh, this review is perfect. This is exactly from me. It's in my language. It's in my verbiage. Click send. And now a review is placed on Google My Business. I mean, there are so many opportunities right now for you guys to put lead polls in the water. It's crazy. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of like, get yourself focused on leads, because we talk about this in the mastermind, and you guys hear me talk about this all the time, but my preference is that you run a dirty business. And when I say a dirty business, it just means that you have more leads than you can ever follow up on. They
Hmm.
should be falling through the crack, right? And what I mean by that is if I call Rachel and Dalton and say, who are you working with right now? And they go, well, we're working with Sally. She's in Missoula. She just recently lost her husband, and he was a fireman and an EMT, and he was the coach of the soccer team. And she, is head of the local crafting department at the local PTA in Booster, and she drives a 1984 Tercel, and he used to drive a fire truck, and he couldn't drive a stick shift, but he could drive an automatic, and oh, he loved cats, and you start talking about all of the story about one person in the business, you're toast. Like Are they in or out? Are they on or off? How do we acquire them? But super important to generate leads.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. This might be kind of fun to ask you for our members. What are a few ways that you can think of just off the top of your head that people who are doing these community cards, so they're filling the community cards with local businesses in their community, what are some creative ways that you can think of off the top of your head?
Yeah, so if I were doing a community card and I was I'm gonna call a small to medium town. Like you could do it in a big town too. Like, I live in Los Angeles, so I could do the same thing here, but um I just want to keep it I know people all over are in different spots of the area. So
Yeah.
first thing I would do is I would look and see who is already spending money on print marketing.
Mhm.
It'd be number one place I'd start. So first off, I would put a message out and I'd say, "Hey, does anybody get Valpak?
Yep.
I want the Valpaks of every town." And I would literally start calling the people that are in there because now they've got a coupon in there and they're one of like 40 coupons inside of there. Community cards are way less expensive for them to be a part of. So that would be one place. Secondly, is I would look in any local real estate magazine. So I would go get my local real estate magazine and I would look through that local real estate magazine and I would find the people that are putting ads in those. What agents are putting ads in there, what lending institutions, banks are going in there, what junk removal, landscaping, pool service, those types of businesses that are already putting money into print advertising, offering them a better way.
Yep.
Next, I would go to my local chamber of commerce. That's an easy place to go. Hey, I've got this thing going for 200 bucks or whatever it is. Next thing I would do is I would probably, even though I do like getting up early in the morning, I would put myself on the substitute list for BNI and I would go to as many BNI chapters as I could as a guest or a substitute. So I wouldn't join one. I would become a guest on the substitute list so I have access to way more people. I would
Mhm.
go that route. Next thing I would do is I would probably go find a strip mall that has a lot of little businesses in it. Not the strip malls that are filled with the Starbucks and Hobby Lobby and Dick's
Yep.
Sporting Goods. The little ones that is like, Nellie's Nail Salon, the instrument repair shop, the local, you know, X-ray imaging company, the little veterinarian, the dog groomer, dog boarder, and I would literally just door knock with an example of one of these cards. Maybe the next thing I would do is I would go, okay, what associations have these types of businesses in there? So, I used to speak a lot for the Home Builders Association out in Colorado. You could go attend those meetings, and in the Home Builder Association, there are home builders, home services, trades organizations that are inside of there. All of them are spending huge amounts of money, and these community cards and these community boards are getting in mailboxes. And here's what people are going to hear. Well, I just do everything online. Awesome, you're not the right fit. You know who is? Your competitor, the one that's stealing business from you because they're in their online and offline world.
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
So the thing that I wouldn't do in these community cards is I wouldn't try to go for businesses that don't have any money for marketing. I
Mhm.
would only look for those businesses that are already in the game of some kind of marketing. People that do billboards,
Yep.
right? Billboards. People that are if you're driving down the road and you see a sign that they change every day,
Mhm.
right? Like I had this chiropractor up in my hometown that they changed a funny chiropractor quote every day. I know they're in the marketing, like they're in marketing.
Right.
I would call on the people that do the marketing on the shopping carts. Like
Mhm.
if you're pushing a shopping cart and you see a realtor or an insurance agent, a jewelry repair, perfect person. They're spending a lot more than 150 bucks on a shopping cart. And you
Yeah.
go, okay, as soon as I pay my groceries, I shove you in a whole thing that marketing is not working for you. Wouldn't you rather be in these same customers when they get home from the grocery store and they see your message right there on the spot?
Yep.
Or they go to their local pizza joint or they go to their local gym and they see your ad on one of these boards that's standing up inside of there. So
Mhm.
that's where I would go is I would literally be looking like who's already marketing.
Yep. And
And,
Valpak
and,
is
and
a
I'll tell. Oh, I didn't even think about this until just now. I think this would work probably in. Well, I think it would work in any town, actually. if you are doing these community cards and you have a kid or know some kid that's in high school, I would go to I think I'm so not a sports guy, so I might have this all backwards. But the people that go to football games on Friday nights for high school, you always get a program, right? And in the back of the program are always ads. Those businesses are wasting money on those ads and they know it. They're just supporting that team.
Hmm.
What another great way to professionalize a little bit of their advertising.
Yeah, those are all great. And I'm glad that you
Oh,
have
now here's
a
another one. I just thought of
Here
this
you
as
go.
well. Sorry, guys.
No, keep going.
No, but one thing, and I come from the film business, so you would have to do a tiny bit of work and research on this, but sometimes that's where the business really flourishes, right? Um, I know even here in Los Angeles, you could put a 5 to 10 second screen up in front of every movie that's playing while people are sitting there eating their popcorn, stuffing their face, waiting for the previews to start. You've all seen it, just rolls
Yep.
through. Well,
Hmm.
what if you had a QR code up there that said, "Hey, want to get your business in front of 2,500 homes for under 200 bucks? Scan here and let me know where to send the information." This screen will rotate every minute. Don't miss out. And
Yeah.
make it kind of fun. Those are not expensive. They're like probably, $2 or $3 every time it rotates,
Oh,
max.
wow. Okay.
It's not expensive. And usually those theaters have multiple theaters. They are there to sell that space. So any place where I think I'm going to have the eyeballs of business owners, or I'm going to have people that are already spending money on print marketing.
Hmm.
That's where I would start.
Yep.
And then the other thing that I would do, and I know you guys are brilliant at this, is really being able to then offer those people multiple packages. So your first one, your first 15 or 20 are going to be tough.
Hmm.
You're not going to get your pitch right. You're going to something's going to happen on the postcard. Like there's going to be all kinds of problems, right? That's why you want to be a part of Rachel and Dalton's community. They can help you get some of these problems ironed out, so you're not just all on your own. And and then be able to go back to them over and over and over again, over and over and over again, so that on your next card, maybe you only have to sell 12 spots out of 15.
Yep.
Maybe the next one you only have to sell 3 spots because all these other people are super happy and excited. And again, I mean, I would probably only do this journey if I was working with Rachel and Dalton because they figured it all out.
We've made all
I,
the
I watched
mistakes.
a, I watched a podcast. I watched a podcast of you guys, and it was really funny. And you were on the show, and the host had asked you, how many postcards have you guys actually sent out? And he had a number in his head. And when you actually said the number, like I wanted to screen grab the look on his face because I think he was like, "Oh, oh, oh, wait, now I better really pay attention because this is like something that's like actually real."
Yeah. Yeah, we've done our fair share and we've made our fair share of mistakes and talking about, the multiple packs, that's the only way that we sell these postcards now because like of course when you're first getting started with it, you're selling one. You're just trying to get people to commit. But that was leading to problems because we all know you can't get a big sale off of one postcard. If you do, you better go play the lottery that same day. And so we started out by just selling, one-offs. And this happened not too long ago. I don't think I told you about this, Casey, but um one of the guys that participated in one of our very first postcards, he only did one. We told him this works best if you do multiple. He's like, I can barely afford one. We're like, well, you probably shouldn't do it then. We tried to convince him not to do it, but it was our first postcard. We wanted to make the sale. He wanted to do it, so we did it. And not too long ago, I made one of the posts about me and Dalton traveling, and he commented, and he was like, "Glad I've been able to fund all these vacations you've been talking about. I'm not gonna lie, this really gets under my skin." And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad that we stopped selling one mailing." Because these people think that they can get huge results from one mailing, even if you preface it with, that's probably not going to happen. And I'm like, we're living in this guy's head.
Rent free, by the way.
Rent free.
I mean, but
He
let's
thinks
let's
he's
take a
paying
step
our
back.
vacations.
If we're talking about cards and boards and you guys don't really know what we're talking about because you're new to Rachel and Dalton, or maybe you've just found this on YouTube or whatever, Rachel and Dalton are like the king and queen of side hustles. And this side hustle that they have for people is essentially getting your marketing for free. And what they teach and train is how you can take a giant postcard, and they've got all the templates and the formulas and the people to talk to and the stuff that they've made mistakes on, which is how I like to learn. I like to fast track. I do not like learning mistakes because they're really expensive. I'd rather just go right to the people that have already been kicked around a bit. But it allows you to create a free marketing, a free lead generation tool for yourself by taking a postcard and selling some advertising spots on the postcard. And then you get to insert your marketing for free.
Hmm.
So it's literally a way for you to connect with other business owners, learn about other business owners that you might do other joint ventures and collaborations and partnerships with, but also a way for you to get your marketing for free and get paid to help other people grow their business. It's kind of like such a cool win-win-win. I just friggin' love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then we build those relationships with the businesses that participate in the postcards, and then we're able to sell them other services. So, we do website builds, we do brand reputation management, and it opens the door because they already trust you. You gave them this really valuable thing for a really low cost. So they already like you because they're not spending thousands on their direct mail anymore. And there's a good chance they're going to say, "Hey, what else can you do? Can you print me some brochures? Can you print me some flyers? Can you help me with my online presence?" And then it just snowballs from there. And you can
And
really build a
and
business.
I do want to just put this in a caveat. So because I can hear some people thinking, oh, well, I'm not looking for a side gig, but I do like the idea of giving my marketing for free. It just becomes a system, you guys. So it's not like you become like a sales rep and you're just out selling advertising and you're not able to grow your real estate business or your insurance business. It's not that. It's like, who do you know already that's marketing, pooling your resources so that you get your marketing for free. And what Rachel's talking about here is then creating some leverage in that. So you might have to work a little hard the first time around, the second, third, fourth time it's a couple of buttons and a couple of emails.
Yep.
So I just want people to not think like, oh, well, you're telling me I got to do all this work. This is why I would jump on Rachel and Dalton's. They have a free mini course. They've got a little um, club community that you can be a part of where they give out pretty much everything and teach and train you guys exactly what to do, exactly how to do it, and let the ones that have messed it up teach you how to do it.
Yeah.
And trust me, I know they've messed it up. You know why? Because I'm the one that gets to hear about
Yep.
it.
We pay you to listen to our problems.
And then I know we're wrapping up, guys. So, I just want to invite you guys if you're out networking and you're going out networking events, like go to Big Sky Power Networking.com and grab this download. It's 120 networking tips. I have one in my car to this day. And what I do is I read 5 or 6 of them before I go into an event, 5 or 6 of them after. They're not long. They're literally like two
Yeah.
sentences.
Mm.
It's like such a no-brainer, but it'll really put you in a mindset when you go to these events to be on purpose and with intention.
I
Yeah,
agree.
Casey, that list has helped us so much.
Yep.
And there's one that always sticks to me, and it's the one, don't approach a group of three and like don't try to insert yourself. So I'm always like,
Who's the lonely
Yeah.
person out
yeah,
there?
so I that one sticks with me. There are so many that stick with me and that have helped us in our networking because we were not experts. We're still not experts.
Nope.
And we reference that list all the
Yeah.
time when we're going into a new event because we're like,
Yeah.
oh God, I don't know what to do. Let me check this list.
Yeah, it's a ton of value.
It is.
It is.
Awesome. Well, you guys, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on the show. I think it's so amazing of what you've been able to create for yourselves, for your family, the trips that you're taking, the adventures that you're on. It is an incredible honor to be able to watch and see you guys flourish and grow and be willing to make mistakes and be willing to take what you've learned and help other people be able to go live out their true life adventure. It's an incredible honor to be in your space and watching what you guys are doing and co-creating stuff is just it's incredibly awesome. So you guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, like I don't know if they will tell you, but do yourself a favor. You deserve to be in their space. So they will put their link below. Trust me, I will make sure they do. Their link below, how you can stay in touch with them. But also like and subscribe to the channel. Click the bell notifications. You guys know all the things the YouTubers say to do. Stay connected to Rachel and Dalton. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Uncle Casey. We feel the same way about you. We've learned so much from you and we're able to implement like everything you tell us. we're able to implement it. And it is an honor being able to learn from you and be in your space too.
I
We're extremely
agree. I
grateful.
agree. Thank you for your
Um,
time, Casey.
yes,
Awesome.
thanks,
Thanks,
Casey.
guys. Have a great day, everyone.
You
You too.
too. Bye.